You are now listening to Feeding Off Each Other.
Please stop my ears. Ow.
It's too loud. Why would you do that?
It was a late night.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome back to the Ava Whistler Crankworks, baby.
2022.
It's 9:30 on the dot in the morning, and I went to bed 4 hours ago.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think people can tell. I think we sound different. I think this podcast started different than the others.
And if you're watching on YouTube, we also look different, probably.
Well, you can't see our eyes, which is really the telltale sign.
I can't see anything. I'm wearing baby vibes.
I'm concerned that when Casey comes in here, she's going to be more comfortable with these off. But if we take them off, it looks like we all got punched in the face.
I think she's just going to have to deal with it.
I'm probably going to take mine off because I literally can't see anything. They're so fogged.
And they're directly on your eyeballs.
Yeah. What did we do last night? Tell the people.
Well, we wound up at a concert. Maybe the first concert I've ever been to in Whistler.
What did we do before the concert?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Rewinding way back.
Well,
Yesterday was the slope style of it. Jason, you're already calling it quits on the baby
I couldn't
vibes.
see anything.
That's fair.
Yeah, you don't want to.
I want to have eye contact.
Yeah. It was slope style, baby, and it was super exciting. People were throwing down. People were jumping over things. It was a super fun day. I'm glad it's back.
I saw the official count on the hill was 38,000 people.
Oh yeah. How do they count? Who's counting?
I think someone just takes a wide photo and goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
They weigh the mountain before, and then they weigh the mountain during. That's how they know.
They get everybody to do a road call. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah,
4.
but I've seen Home Alone, and sometimes road calls don't work. That's how Kevin got left at home. If you watch it.
Neat.
It's too early for your clever jokes.
So then,
I got a soundboard too. Dave's on the soundboard today. And
so yeah, we watched Joyride, and we watched Emil Johansson win.
Butter.
then we watched Thomas Lemoyne jump the entire final feature.
Yeah, it was the first mountain biking event I've ever watched.
Yeah, how was that for you? Did you understand what was happening?
I was like, what are these shapes and sounds? I don't understand.
But it's funny because as we watched, we were guessing the scores as
Yeah.
kind of like a friendly wager. And Dave, I would say more often than not, you guessed very close or correctly on what the judges gave the ride.
Hey, your guys' judging was really good.
Yeah, it's there's like kind of like I think there's just like a sports watching literacy where I've watched enough Olympics over the years, and I do that kind of game, watching diving or figure skating or whatever. You get a sense of like how in control the athlete is, and like whether it seems like they're kind of pushing the limits based on what everyone else is doing. So pretty quickly you kind of figure it out. I needed like a baseline of like 1 or 2 scores to be like, oh, okay, that's a 60. Okay, the guy didn't even quite finish. That was like a 40. And then you kind of go from there.
Mm-hmm. So after Joyride, what happened?
Well, we made our way out of the GLC.
Yeah, there were people jumping over fences and sidewalks and going crazy, just trying to vacate.
So many people.
And then we headed over back to the Ava to chill in our hotel room and watch a dozen Amine music videos.
And a couple Shania Twain videos.
A couple Shania Twain, a couple Post Malone music videos.
Mm-hmm.
And we cracked a couple cold kokanees and we were just chilling. And the reason we were watching Amine was because he was playing at the Whistler Conference Center.
If you don't know who he is, look up his music videos. They're pretty incredible.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, very colorful. Production design's awesome. Looks amazing. Good songs too. Good music and great performer. He was really hyping the crowd last night.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah, he delivered.
It was nice to see him not just phone it in. Because I think for something like that, like not an official tour.
Yeah, it's a bit of a corporate gig for him.
Yes, it was. He was into it for sure. He was into it.
Yeah, I would say like it was half, like half people who came to see him or were already on his tour in Vancouver, and then half people who were in Crankworks. So a little mix of people from the city and people who are already here today. Oh God, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was impressed at how many people were like singing to the lyrics and like knew his stuff, because I kind of suspected, because it was an official after party event, that like people would not know who he was even.
So it was pretty cool just to be in the sea of people
Yeah.
getting rowdy, and then just seeing all the like slopestyle dudes
People started
just
moshing.
unwinding.
People started moshing aggressively.
Oh yeah,
And I was like, oh, a fist fight is absolutely going to break out here.
yeah. I thought the first mosh pit was a fist fight.
So did I, yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, stay away from me.
It was fun though. Emil was like right beside us, just vibing in his
Yeah.
bucket hat and his
We saw many of the competitors just like chilling amongst us.
yeah.
I was so starstruck.
He was just having a great time. I loved seeing that. And then also we saw Thomas Lemoyne. I think he was having quite arguably the best time out of anybody.
That guy looks like he knows how to party.
Oh, big time.
I think he also loves hip hop. Like he is a rapper
yeah,
himself.
Oh, right. What's his rap name again?
Lil
Moyne.
Moyne.
Lil
Yeah.
Moyne. It was right there.
Yeah, he performed at Garfinkel's before. Well, I'm not actually sure, but I think it was before Mercules.
What's Mercules?
Mercules is a local rapper
Oh, okay.
who, yeah. I wish I saw that.
Yeah, that would have been something.
Yeah, yeah. And then he competed like the next day as well. So I don't understand how these guys can burn the candle at both ends like that.
Yeah, you're getting pretty lit.
They trained for this, I guess.
Especially when you're drinking nothing but Red Bull vodkas at the conference center.
Yeah, it was a Red Bull event, so like every drink was Red Bull.
Except they for some reason they don't tell you that they also just have a soda option if you don't want the Red Bull, but it's left off the menu.
I'm guessing for marketing purposes.
I would say so, but
Just a hunch.
for your health, to have a maybe
For
a soda
the health.
For the health, when you're gonna be slamming vodka, maybe have a soda every once in a while.
Okay, we have
Or every time.
We have a few other pre-guest topics we wanted to hit.
Oh God, okay, thank God
Okay.
we wrote that down.
I have it in front of me. One of them was, I thought I heard something.
Oh, we're never gonna get them.
The pod. We were gonna say the pod has been mountain bike heavy, but we want to touch on other people and subjects.
I think we should get someone who's like way, way smarter than us. We've been claiming like
Oh, yeah,
we're
we're
going
gonna
to
get,
talk
like,
from
this-
everybody from mountain bikers to molecular biologists. I think we need to just bring someone on to school us. Dave,
love
you can no longer be the smartest guy in the room.
I'm definitely not the smartest guy in the room. I'm the dumbest guy in the room. But yeah, we're gonna bring on some other types of people. But I think we've been kind of evolving our conversations with the mountain bike folks, anyways, to expand beyond kind of like the inside baseball stuff and get a little bit more broad. So I've been really enjoying the interviews lately.
Yeah, I think the soundboard has been getting better too.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And today we're just gonna absolutely lay into Casey. Oh, she's here.
Oh,
she's here. And there's a dog.
welcome.
We have a soundboard, so I just want to like caution you. So
Is that too loud? Do you want us
No,
to turn
that's
that?
fun. That's
Okay.
never been inside a soundboard before, but here we are.
Now, Casey, we would ask you to introduce yourself, but we actually introduce people for them on this podcast. And I'm responsible for writing your intro this time around, and I actually learned a lot about you.
Whoa.
And
Looks like a long intro.
it is long. You're very interesting person. And I didn't want to, I wanted to, I could talk endlessly about you. So why don't I just begin, everybody? Today's guest is a professional mountain bike racer and free rider. Born as a Kiwi in New Zealand, completely off the grid, she moved to the small mountain town of Revelstoke, Canada when she was just 11 years old. You've seen her on countless podiums, star in many iconic movie segments and short films, slay covers of numerous magazines. Besides being an artist on the bike, this person is brilliant with a pencil or a paintbrush. Sharing her occasional art with her 100,000 plus followers online, she is also the creator of the Dark Horse Invitational, a women's only slopestyle event taking place for its second time this summer in Revelstoke next week.
Next month.
Next month.
Yeah.
She is an animal lover, a human lover, an earth lover. She is a sweetheart and can do no wrong. Please welcome Casey Brown.
Oh, thank you.
you got
That
the
was
applause.
Did I do a good thing?
Yeah, that was accurate, kind of. Yeah, I don't know.
You want to rate it? You can rate it out of 10.
Out of 10.
I don't know. It's
Be honest.
It's
Be
hard listening to yourself. You don't want to downplay it, but you outplayed it. So.
Did I miss any crucial info about yourself?
No, nothing I can think of.
Well, actually, first of all, I have to ask this first. Are you wearing shoes today?
I am.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm in a hotel. And I don't know.
There was many times this week where I really did not want to put on any shoes, and I just wanted to walk around without shoes, and I wondered if it was unprofessional.
I do that in hotels. I wear socks.
In the hallway, in
Yeah.
the lobby.
I don't care.
I like wearing shoes in nature, but I like wearing bare feet in nature. Walking around like a village or like where people are is kind of gnarly when you don't have shoes on because you never know what's on the floor.
Yeah,
Could be glass.
Especially
could be
after
needles.
last night's craziness. I was in the hotel last night for a bit and there's some funny stuff going down. So, yeah, I put shoes on around humans. They're gross.
I'm gonna kick mine off right now in honor of you being here.
Thank you.
They're off. They're off.
That's so honorable.
So
You're
nice of
welcome.
you.
You're welcome.
Oh, does that smell just for me?
Snuff's leaving.
So the first line of your intro was, I called you a professional mountain bike racer and freerider. That seemed accurate, but I feel like you're one of the first people to come on who doesn't have their whole life and career defined in their Instagram bio. You kind of just have your sponsors and nothing. And I wondered, how do you define yourself as a mountain biker?
Yeah, I mean, it's always been changing for me. I started out on a downhill bike when I was 14 and didn't do any cross country stuff. Thought it was lame, and then
Still do?
never hung out with that side of the sport at all. I was just straight into the downhill thing, and there's a crew of 4 of us in our hometown, and that's kind of how I learned about mountain biking, and all I knew was freeride. All we frothed is New World Disorder, and I never knew what it was, what the program was to get into a World Cup or anything like that. I had no one with that information around me. All I knew was just straight Robbie Borden and freaking everyone just sending and hucking. So, that was kind of, I don't know, I guess the inception in my mind of mountain biking.
I feel like there's so much to talk about. I really did learn a lot about you. I didn't know that you grew up in Barnes Bay.
Barn Bay.
Barn Bay.
Just single barn. Yeah.
So I was deep in the Google Maps.
Oh, yeah.
What the
Did you
heck?
see the islands? Because the bay is named after the islands because they're just these huge chunks of rock that stick straight out of the Tasman Sea. And they're super tall. And in the storms, they just look like these buildings, basically, that are sticking straight up out of the ocean. And we get the craziest weather down there. And then huge waves will roll in and just blast vegetation to pieces off these big chunks of rock in the ocean. So, yeah, it's a wild place, to say the least.
I listened to your podcast, The Powell Movement. And
I never listened to that one.
it was good. It was good.
Maybe I'll listen to this one after. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I
We'll
would.
see how it goes.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I really wouldn't. And he mentioned that you lived on an island, but I wonder if that was true.
He is definitely wrong because, New Zealand is, everywhere is an island. Depends.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
New Zealand's
Gigantic.
If you zoom out far enough, everything's an island.
everything.
Okay. Well, no, I asked because, he's like, you grew up kind of on an island, and then you kind of agreed. And then I wondered, does it mean when you zoom into Barn Bay, if it meant those, I think what you're talking about, those 3 islands.
Well, we didn't grow up on those islands because we would have been perished. No, well, I think he meant the South Island of New Zealand, but yeah, I don't know. Things.
Okay.
Yeah.
So can you set the stage for those who don't know what Barn Bay is, where you grew up?
Okay, so Barn Bay is, I think it took us 6 hours on a good day to hike in, and that was after a really long drive on a dirt road into the middle of nowhere with our family bus that would park at the end of the dirt road and then would cross 2 rivers and we'd have to like make sure the rivers weren't too crazy. We had a canoe just in case, and sometimes we'd just hike across, and the whole family would like hold on to one big like stick so we wouldn't get washed away. And that was like our grocery getting trip. Like everyone would be loaded down with groceries, and there's also a quad bike that did the first little section of it just to like get us as far as we could, and then then we're canoeing across, hiking, and then like going through the bush basically. And for 6 hours. Last time we did it, there was like a bit of a washout, and it took.
When was this?
This is we did like a thing for Bike magazine a few years ago.
Oh, okay.
And we flew in and hiked out, and I hiked out barefoot. It took us 9 hours.
Oh my God.
You were barefoot for 9 hours?
Yeah, and it was like, I don't know, the rivers were pretty low, so it was all good, but yeah, it was way longer because all the trails were so washed out by all the rivers. So yeah, it's like like the landscape out there is constantly getting changed by water and like weather. There's like 100-year storms every couple of years now, so everything changes quite quickly. Like we don't know if like our house is still out there that my dad built out of just like bits and pieces he found in the forest, wood, logs, chainsaw sawed, milled them up, and built a homestead. And we don't know when the house is going to get washed away because the river is slowly chewing away at that side. And it wouldn't be the first time the house has gone into the ocean. So
I heard about this.
Yeah.
So
before I was born.
So the reason you're out there was because your father was a commercial fisherman.
Yeah, he is a cray fisherman. So basically lobsters that don't have any pinchers on them.
And why did he choose that particular zone? Was it rich with?
Yeah, it's a super
life?
Like there. I guess there was a tenure out for that area, and usually the fishermen have to come from Jackson's Bay, which is quite a ways north of Barn Bay, and it's quite treacherous getting around this horn and getting into that zone because the Tasman Sea is really gnarly. Lots of guys die out there all the time. So. So we decided, I guess my dad decided, may as well just live there. And I don't know, it's a pretty rugged place. Sandflies, hiking, like bad weather. One time it rained for 90 days straight. And the first house before I was born got washed into the ocean in one of the storms. And just like real rugged, real serious.
What kind of feelings do you get when you think back to your childhood? Is it, do you have fun, comfortable memories? Or do you remember like rough times, like working hard, being out there, disconnected from the world?
I mean, I wasn't out there for that long. Like we moved inland in 1995, 1996 time. But yeah, what I remember of that era was just like, I don't even remember being parented, really. I just remember being amongst the other kids and kind of just rough and tumble, like, I don't know, just playing in the bush basically the whole time, like going exploring. That was just so normal, just like, okay, what's our mission today? We're going to go to the sand dunes and we're going to just cruise around and, be careful because Dad said there was crocodiles in the forest, which there's not, but he did that just to keep us in certain zones.
Were there predators out there?
No, not on the land, but in the ocean there's great whites and like anything that's in the ocean anywhere really. So.
And you mentioned that your dad would just pull up whatever he caught and that would be dinner.
Oh
like
yeah,
a shark, maybe.
Yeah, we did eat a lot of shark actually. Like that was kind of what we fished for, like casually, like with rods and stuff. If we wanted to go and catch stuff, there's tons of sharks. So.
How many years did you live out there for?
I was there, like we were out there till I was
personally.
Like 5, and then we were back and forth throughout like when I was 6, and then we moved inland, to a 316-acre farm.
Wow.
Have you ever seen the movie Captain Fantastic?
Yes. Yeah, I did.
Did people bring this up?
Yeah, for sure.
It's the first thing I thought when I saw your story.
Yeah, it's quite cool because, like, they lived in a bit of a teepee situation, and my dad built teepees and set them up for us. Like, well, for the family, it was like what we lived in when we moved to the farm. There's some pictures, old pictures. It's sick. Like, just this teepee in the middle of the valley, and then just nothing else. Yeah, camping was life.
So was your dad the leader of all these wild decisions in terms of where he lived? Tell us about your dad. Very interesting
my
character.
dad's super crazy.
Lou?
Lou, yeah.
Brown?
Yeah, he's what a crazy guy. Just like to this day, he's still like got these ideas and just does them. Like last time we were in New Zealand, it was before COVID, and it was his 70th birthday, and he was flying in, and he messaged me, and he's like, "Hey, Casey," because I said happy birthday, and he's like, "Yeah, just pitched up in the ditch here, just hitchhiking up north." Like, he's just 70 years old, hitchhiking up north, like sleeping in ditches.
That's amazing.
Just fearless.
Just
Yeah.
does what he wants. He just loves like putting himself in situations where he's gonna have like cool experiences, and I really respect that because so many people are so afraid of that, and rightfully so. I mean, there's lots of scary stories out there, but like he just goes for it.
Yeah, it's admirable.
Will he do the podcast?
Maybe you might have to just like sneak in there with some microphones, but yeah, no, like
Set it up in a ditch.
go hang out with him, get some stories set up in a ditch, lure him in.
I think it'd be good.
That'd be hilarious.
Yeah, and he's got piles of stories, and man, like the more stories we could get recorded of that guy would be great. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Where is Lou right now?
He's in Revy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
In a house?
No, he does not live in a house.
Okay.
I don't think he has ever, apart from Barn Bay, like that's the only house we've lived in. Like,
And what was that house like? I watched the Red Bull piece.
yeah. Okay. So
Forgot the title, but
yeah.
that house looked so cute, and your whole family at the table in the
Yeah.
kitchen.
Yeah,
It
it's cool.
Yeah, it looked like a movie.
Like everything is handmade, like, and because there was so many weather days that he couldn't go out on the boat, there was a lot of time spent crafting and creating cool things in the house. So there was really neat furniture that my dad hand carved, and just like it was like, yeah, it was rustic, but it was definitely like a home. Like, it had so much memorable stuff in there. It was cool. It's still there. It's a hunting cabin now, but you can still go there and kind of get the idea.
Can you zoom? I mean, I don't want to like dox you or reveal where you lived or put the house at risk or anything, but I was zooming in on Google Maps trying to find it. I saw a couple houses. Do you know if you can see it?
You can see it on Google, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a airstrip, so sometimes like my dad flew airplanes as well, and there's like an airstrip you could land on. It's kind of rough, and the helis would come in and land every few days because there's heli hunting in the area. That's how they kind of keep the number of deer down, because there's no predators, and they eat all the vegetation, and the native birds are struggling. So, so they shoot deer from helicopters out there.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and then they sling them, and then there's just like 6 or 8 deer just hanging from a sling on the bottom of the heli, and then they drop them off and go and shoot more, and then there's just a pile of dead deer
No way.
in your yard for the day.
Holy smokes.
What do you do? Oh, I'm a helicopter deer sniper.
Yeah, and all the bullet holes are just straight to the top of their heads.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah.
I guess
it's Wild West.
I guess I'm ridiculous for thinking I just doxed your home in Barn Bay. People are swarming now, hiking through the woods
Yeah,
to come
I
burn
mean,
your house
Just takes
down.
you 9 hours.
Dude, all the power to you. Try and get out there.
Good luck.
We did have trampers come out, and just like we'd have to like feed them because they had made huge mistakes on their like navigation, and just like no food, and there was a lot of those people like coming through from time to time, and my dad would just scoop them up as like crew hands on the deck and make them work for him.
Really? And they
Yeah.
were, I mean, I'm sure they were just happy to see somebody.
Oh yeah,
So
they
wouldn't
were
mind.
they were so grateful. So many of them just like tourists in New Zealand, just going for a hike, and you know,
Just 9 hours off course.
oh yeah,
Oh my
a
God.
couple days.
Now, was the worst day your family experienced out there, was it when the house washed away in the river?
I guess so, because I wasn't actually born then, but yeah, apparently, like the story goes, like there was flood warnings for the river, and my dad, there was this like post outside that my dad kept checking on to see if the water had risen past this post. And my mom and dad are funny when they tell stories together, because they're like, no, it went like this. And like, no, it was your fault. You didn't look at the post right. Like, it's so funny hearing them chat, because, and it's cool too, because they catch each other. But yeah, like, I guess my dad went out late. My mom had a baby and like a 4-year-old and a 7-year-old, no, 12-year-old, something. So like 3 kids, and just like, in this house that's about to wash into the Tasman Sea and never to be seen again. My dad goes out and checks on this post to see if the water's risen. He's like, not all good. Goes back to bed, and then all of a sudden you can hear the house start to like go, and they just like have to rush. It's pissing rain, like gnarly storm, and they all just rush out of the house. Mom's just like, I guess, holding like the newborn, like baby, and just like a couple of kids, and my dad like watching their house just get tossed into the river to then be pushed out to sea. And then they then lived in the garden shed for a few months and survived off of some rations, and I guess there was these juggling balls that were filled with rice that they had to dive into as well and start like
way.
eating those. So
What?
yeah, so like that's desperate times when there's storms and like you can't really get out and nobody can get in because the weather's too bad. And yeah, there's plenty of stories on Barn Bay that my dad has told, and I mean they're much better coming from him. But yeah,
I feel like a book needs to be written real quick about this. Like,
yeah,
it's so fascinating.
It's so crazy. Yeah, like even just like my dad told this story the other day of these two guys that came in, like younger dude and older man that worked together, but just like kind of I don't know, they didn't know how to swim or anything, and my dad had them working on the boat for a bit and then sent them back to they're going back to civilization. So my dad gave them clear instructions on how to get back and like what to do and how to navigate the area, and they tried to cross the river by blowing up garbage bags, and the one guy, the older guy, went in first and got washed out to sea, and the younger guy tried and then just like got washed back onto the shore of the river right away, and then hiked back to our house. And then later on that evening, the heli showed up with the dead guy and like the body bag, and just like we're just like, whoa, there's a dead guy in there. No way. That's crazy. And then yeah,
And how convenient for him to garbage bag himself up.
oh god.
Sorry.
Oh my god.
I restrained making that joke.
I
was
mean,
like,
it was
you
a
know,
while ago.
It's a bit inappropriate.
This is
Okay, all right.
no, this is a long time
Cut
ago.
that, cut that.
Cut that, cut that.
please.
No, keep it in.
Oh,
Keep it in.
Christ.
I don't want to divert us from this topic, but
Yeah.
I was it's related. I was thinking about your like reintegration into society around like other people.
Oh yeah.
Like, did you have a lot of interesting experiences where like your points of reference were for living were so different?
Yeah, I mean, like an example would be like would go into civilization every few months to get groceries or supplies, and like my sister apparently they were like downtown, like Queenstown or something, getting like cruising around, and my sister just like, oh, gotta go pee, and just like whips down her pants in the middle of the town, and like you know, just like, okay, that's something we didn't teach them, I guess. So interesting. And then like, I don't know, when we moved to civilization, we did live on a farm that was quite massive, and we had lots of space still, but it was so different because we had to go to public school, and holy, that was gnarly. I was not socialized, and we weren't. We were also like, our immune systems were not.
Right.
We're not used to humans, so I feel like we were just sick all the time. And it was just like that kind of made it really rough times because everyone was always sick and everyone was just like adjusting, and
How old were you at that point?
like 5.
Oh yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, getting back into
So were you guys like, you were the weird kids?
yeah, the weird kids,
Or
like
the weird woods kids?
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, it was kind of funny times. I guess you don't really know any different when you're a kid, but looking back, you're like, whoa, kids are mean.
Oh yeah, kids are really mean.
They're gnarly. Yeah, even back then.
Do you even find now, like, just because, you know, you're such an outdoorsy person and that's how you were raised, like, do you miss out on certain pop culture references, or are you pretty into everything now?
I do miss out on pop culture, like, here in Canada, because I didn't grow up with TV in New Zealand, like, much, like, of that stuff. And then coming to Canada when I was 11, like, I missed all the movies that the kids watch, because New Zealand has different stuff, usually,
Right.
except for, like, Lion King and whatnot. But, I mean, yeah, so I'm just like, oh, well, cool. I'll Google it later, maybe.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Yeah.
I watched Lion King when I was like 19 for the first time. So I lived in a city and I was still cut off from the
He
greatest
still
Disney
cried though.
movies.
Everyone does.
So all my information is just from a few articles and that one podcast.
Yeah,
Hopefully
yeah.
it's just I'm not all regurgitating the same information for those of you out there who follow Casey and want to learn more new things about her. Hopefully get into some new things.
Yeah.
But you had your dad had bikes. He said he would always try to have a bike, at least one bike for you guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was always bikes around, whether they were like crafted together out of parts or whatnot. But there was always bikes, I feel like, and he rides a bike every single day.
In Barn Bay, he brought bikes out there.
Yeah, there are like kids' bikes and stuff out there.
So does that mean that he's bringing that in on his back?
Yeah, or the boat. He would boat.
Okay.
And then occasionally there would be like helicopters coming in, but we wouldn't really, like, our only technology was the fisherman's radio. We didn't really have much contact to the outside world.
I see.
Yeah.
So do you remember what your first bike was? Your bike?
We didn't really have like ownership of those types of things when we were really little. It was just like the bike. It was like this white bike, and my sister, once we moved to the farm, she's like, okay, it's time for you to learn how to ride a bike. You're 5. And she's like kind of gnarly big sister, like the older one. And she took me up on this bike, and I was like, oh, excited. My sister wants to hang out with me. That's so cool. Anyways, she gets me on this bike like at the top of this hill and just like yeets me down the hill, and I get the mad speed wobbles, like obviously like she's just like, momentum's your friend, go. And just like the biggest crash.
No
yeah,
helmet,
I think it was more like I was her like toy that day. Like, let's see how entertaining this can be for myself.
Funny how you still remember that though.
Oh yeah, and then when I'd come to Canada to visit, like, because my dad left to Canada during that time too, when we moved to the farm, and took 2 of the kids, like my brother and my older sister, and again, like going to Canada, like 6 maybe, my brother's like, oh, you know how to ride a bike now, and he puts me on, and he's like built this like wedge jump into the woods, like where they were in Blue River, and he's just like running behind me, and I'm sitting on the seat, and he's just like yeeting me off this jump, and I'm like, again, it was like, oh cool, my brother wants to hang out with me, I feel special. Again, huge crash. I don't remember anything.
Was your brother the biggest daredevil of the group early on?
Yeah, I think so. Just I don't know, we were all daredevils, honestly.
I guess I'm just curious of the transition of like messing around on bikes in Barn Bay to like mountain biking as we know it, free riding in the forest and like building stunts and all that.
Yeah, I mean, like when you grow up kind of without being coddled, and you get to test out your limits really young and like learn how things work, like momentum and falling down and sharp edges and hard things hurt. And, you know, you learn those lessons without parents around telling you, don't do that because you're going to get hurt. And you just like, you learn the hard way or you figure it out from your family. And, yeah, I think that's really important to, you know, rewild your children. And I don't know.
No,
Kids are soft these days, I think.
Was Sam the first one to actually pick up a proper mountain bike and ride down a trail?
Yeah. When he came to Canada, he got into mountain biking and like learned about mountain biking. And my dad was always into bikes, so he would put my brother in like little races and stuff. And
in Revelstoke?
no, we were in Blue River at that point.
Okay.
Like my dad lived in Blue River when he moved to Canada and lived in a teepee, a double walled teepee. It still exists. Winterized teepee.
Nice.
Where is Blue River?
Blue River is, as a crow flies, about a 45-minute heli flight from Revelstoke north over the Caribous, or you go past Kamloops north, past like Clearwater, between Clearwater and Jasper, tiny town of like maybe 200 or 300 people.
Huge for you guys.
Huge.
Yeah,
That was
it's like the big smoke.
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, there was like a store and stuff, a couple stores.
Wow.
One of them we called the Food Museum because everything was expired.
I think I've told you this before, but your brother's hamster wheel stunt, iconic stunt that he built.
Yep.
Don't know what movie that was featured in.
Neural Disorder 3.
I built that out of popsicle sticks when I was very young.
No way.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Hot glue and popsicle sticks.
That's
Because I used to just like to build. I talked about popsicle sticks like 3 podcasts ago with Blake, right?
Yeah.
This guy. An abundance of popsicle sticks for some reason.
For real, I don't know. I just like making stuff with like glue and tape and stuff. And the easiest thing to build was a bike ramp. And I actually built that so it was functional.
No way.
Yeah.
Whoa, that's
So
sweet.
he had an influence on my early childhood too.
That's crazy. Sick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it still exists. It's in pieces in the container, and I want to reconstruct the disconstructed wheel.
No way, it is?
Yeah. It's chopped up into 4 pieces though, so we gotta, and we have to make it wider in the spokes part of the wheel because handlebars are much wider now than they were in Neural Disorder 3.
Can you maybe describe what the stunt is? Like, what is it for people that haven't seen
Oh,
it?
okay, so it's this, so it resets itself all on its own. It's a skinny on the way into basically a hamster wheel for bikes, and you have like an entryway that you ride into, and it's quite narrow. And then as you ride into it, the thing unlocks and rotates as you pedal through it, like a hamster wheel.
Gigantic hamster wheel.
And
you're
you're
riding in one spot.
And you exit through the same hole that you entered through, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
On the other side.
Still going forward.
Still going forward. Yeah.
Yeah, so you're pedaling for like 10 seconds in one spot until it spins around. Yeah, I don't think I've seen, I don't know. I don't want to put any, I don't know if I've seen anything cooler since. They need to put that on Joyride.
Yeah, there's some like, I don't know. I feel like more obstacles need to be built for mountain bikes. Like fun, weird.
Like inspiration
like
from
use like
Japanese
or just like
stunt shows.
or
like,
Donkey Kong or like
What was that show called again? Most Extreme, whatever?
Oh, MXP?
MXP.
No,
Yeah.
MXC. Most Extreme Challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need more of that in mountain biking. I
I
think.
think that would bring the bigger audience.
Yeah, it might.
Yeah, and it would be fun.
More teeter-totters. Remember the old like teeter-totter people jumped up on and then it moved?
Yeah. Or the quadruple teeter-totter. Me and our dog rode one of those together in a train once.
Oh, like where they're connected and they all flop around
Yeah,
together?
so we were on the same teeter-totter at the same time.
How'd that go?
Really wobbly and slow and scary.
Sounds about right.
You made it out alive though.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought there was a bad story coming.
But he's heavier than I am, so it would be
Catapult.
it was really yeah. I mean, we didn't think about that part.
So the reason I asked about Sam being like wondering when mountain biking started is because I'm watching these films and it seems like, yeah, we had some crappy bikes in Barn Bay, whatever showed up, and then all of a sudden hamster wheel.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what happened in between? Like, I mean, you mentioned here that there's some racing involved, but
Yeah, and he is just like, he was a big, like when he moved to Canada, that's all, like I would be on the phone with my brother and he would just be talking about, I want to get a pair of rock shocks. And I remember like vividly him saying that and not understanding what that meant. I was thinking like rock lobsters, like some kind of rock.
Electric rocks.
Yeah, I don't know. Electric rocks. But it sounds sick and I want some too.
So when did let's bring it back on you.
Yeah.
When did you realize that you could maybe turn your career, the mountain biking into a career, or become an athlete?
Honestly, I didn't even know it until I was amongst it because it seemed like a pipe dream, and like watching my brother do it and like be a professional mountain biker as a grom, that was like the best influence you could have, like someone that and your family and a hero already. So someone you're looking up to, and then you're like, wow, that's cool. I want to do that. I don't care if there's like money or not or whatever. If it's successful, it's successful, cool. But that's what I want to do. And I think when you chase what's fun first, and then maybe money will come, but I don't know, it doesn't really matter. As long as you're doing something you love, that's nice. And yeah.
Did you have a plan B, or like what would, if you weren't a mountain biker, what would you be?
Plan B is a plan to fail.
Ooh.
She hadn't planned it out, is what she's saying.
Yeah.
I hadn't planned anything.
Canceling all my plan Bs.
I guess then what other passions did you have at that time? Like, or was it just like all in on mountain biking?
No, I like doing art, and I don't know, just like being creative, creating things, thinking about how to make things better, and like, I don't know, I guess I have sort of a mind, not like my dad's, but I guess a bit of that, where I just like to fix things and be like, okay, this is how we can make this better, and like create things more efficiently and stuff. So I don't know what that would lead into, but
Accounting,
yes.
most likely.
Sales.
My dad always says I should have been an accountant.
No way.
Yeah, he's a good jokester.
So you said you just kind of found yourself amongst it. What were those first couple of years like?
Oh, like
Being a professional.
like it's all hard to say. Like when it like is such a blended era. Like you don't really know when you've made it until you're sitting there and you're like, wow, they're actually sending me paychecks to do this now. That's cool. But before I was getting paychecks, I was World Cup racing, and that was quite the adventure.
What was the first World Cup race you?
I did Mount St. Anne.
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm. That's a gnarly first race.
It was so sick.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
an insane course.
Yeah. It was, I had ridden it for national champs, I think a couple weeks before, and that was my first time riding it. So, yeah.
How did you do in that first race?
I won national champs my first year trying to do mountain biking as a thing.
That's crazy.
And then went to Mount St. Anne and got sixth in my first World Cup. And that was cool. But I didn't know that was cool until after the fact. Like, see?
You were like, I just rode my bike. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. But it's, that was like a pay-to-play program. Like I worked 86 hours a week, 21 days straight in a row with 4 days off to make money to go race World Cups for half a season.
Oh my God, what did you do?
I was I was apprenticing as an electrician.
Interesting.
An
Did not know that.
industrial electrician. So I never really worked on houses or anything, but we did like big machinery shutdowns and sawmills, and I worked up in Rogers Pass, like redoing a bunch of facilities up there. And just, making the lights go on.
Can you help us build a camper van? We need an electrician.
Oh God, I don't know. Is it industrial?
I
How much
think
vol-
so.
It's for industries.
I only do huge voltage.
All right. Well, it's going to be very powerful.
Whatever it takes.
Yeah, for sure.
Was that kind of the only? Did you have any other odd jobs before?
Yeah,
mountain biking?
I worked in a bit of forestry, like doing, like burning brush piles, so like the scraps left over from logging, and yeah, that was eye-opening.
Just how much wood gets burned.
Yeah,
between-
and
yeah.
like you'd go up there and you'd see the list of things to burn, and you'd be like, that's a pile of good logs that they just didn't pick up because it wasn't worth it for them. So
You
okay.
just burn it.
Yeah, you have like a drip torch, and it's filled with like a diesel kerosene mix, and then you just find the honey hole, it's called. You go in there, and it's this like crispy little hole of dry like tinder basically, and that's like the spot that you light on fire, and then the whole pile will just eventually go up, and it burns for days, and then all the mice run out the bottom because they were burning their home. So sad. And then everything just goes so hot, like the whole mountain is just like, and I couldn't believe I was getting paid for that. It was crazy. Arson.
Wow.
Professionally.
Professional arson. It was actually so fun.
Hey guys, I'm just realizing we're kind of low on this or that's.
Oh.
I'm trying to write them as we're. I promise I'm paying attention when I'm on my phone here.
Oh, yeah, I
I'm trying
know.
to prepare for later.
He's multitasking.
We have a little game in store for later.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have enough. I'm concerned.
This is and that's.
Yeah. This isn't that.
This is a nuts.
Yeah.
This are nuts.
I'm gonna think hard over here. Okay.
All right. Well, we'll keep the interview rolling.
Go on, Dave.
So
What do you got for me,
Yeah.
Dave?
we're gonna talk about your
Son it.
We're gonna talk about your sponsors now.
That sounds fun.
You want to know?
Should I not have introduced it?
No,
that
you
way?
should. You should. You should.
So you've been riding treks for 7 years.
Yeah, since 2016, when they saved me from the team I was on earlier.
Who shall not be named?
Racing at that point?
Yeah, I was racing, and then I was either about to just go and do real world work. I was like, I'm either
Burning
gonna,
more forest.
Arson.
Yeah, I don't know. That was a pretty fun job. So, yeah, I was either gonna go get a real job or see what else I could do within mountain biking, and I had no idea that I could get on track. I was like, no way. They're talking to me as like being the ugly kid in school, and like the good looking person coming up and being like, hey.
I don't think you were the ugly kid school. I've seen photos of
you
you
were
growing
being-
up. You were so adorable.
I thought that was metaphorical.
Metaphorical.
Oh, it was
Yeah.
metaphorical.
The
Okay.
metaphorical nerd kid.
And Trek came up and was like, I had this locker last year and banged it and opened it for you.
Yeah, exactly. Just like, wow.
You're like, Dios mío.
What
like-
was the first contact? Was it? Did you just get a message on your pager or
Yeah, on my pager. No, I got a
you
fax.
got a fax?
I had a fax come in. It
A
was
falcon flew in with a message.
Yeah. Back in 2016, yes. 2015.
You knew the falcon from Barn Bay.
Yeah, it was our messenger falcon. No, but I think it was Andrew Shander who contacted me, and I just like, honestly, I thought it was a joke at first. I was like, no, this can't be real. And then, yeah, it was real. And here I am on track still to this day.
And so, go. Sorry, now I'm curious.
Yeah,
now I'm into it. I
Canadian
can't.
standoff.
Here, I'm gonna pass over the phone
Are
to
you gonna
Jason.
do this? Are you gonna do
We
this
need-
or that? Like, which one are you gonna?
Right now, I'm gonna do.
playing
I'm gonna do
music
this. I'm gonna do this.
What is it? What is this?
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Well, now I forgot my question. No, I have it. I have it.
You got it.
I guess I'm just kind of curious, especially for that first deal. Did you negotiate your own deal?
Yeah, I negotiated my own deal, but I was just like, I'll take anything. I'll take
It's not a good negotiating.
I'll take a
tactic.
bike and give it back. I don't care. I want to ride bikes.
And were they sponsoring you to race or to just be you and do whatever you want?
Originally, I wanted to do like a couple World Cups, and then they were like, we want to put you on the enduro team. I'm like, wow, you have no idea. I have no idea. I've never done an enduro. that's crazy that I'm going on an enduro team without any experience. And like, maybe I'm really bad and you won't want me on there. I don't know. But yeah, I remember just like saying yes to the thing. I was like, yes.
Well, that was kind of when
I want to
like
be on track.
enduro was becoming way more popular, right?
Yeah, it was
And-
blowing up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you guys explain what enduro is for people that don't know?
You ride. You get like this little sticker on the top of your bike at the beginning of the race. And it has like all your start times on it, and you have to make it to the top of the mountain to where you're at before your start time, and then you have the time between your start time and your next start time to do your race run and pedal up to the next start time.
Which can be
race
on
run.
a different mountain
Yeah.
completely. Or
So
yeah.
it should, correlate with how long that takes, and sometimes it's tight, and sometimes it's chilling. So, it's an intense thing though. Like you're on your bike for like 8 hours, and riding really gnarly stuff, and yeah, it's crazy.
So how has the Trek relationship developed over the last 7 years? Has it been the dream come true?
It has. I mean, it's so amazing that I've been able to kind of create my own path in a way. Like, yeah, the first year I mean, they paid me money and I rode bikes, and then I rode enduro, and then I did like, a bunch of that stuff. And then I also did lots of freeride and movies, and they put me in their movies. And I was like so honored to be in that position. And then they also just trusted me to just do what I wanted to do. And they still do that. They're just like, they give me so much freedom. They're not like confining me to this discipline that maybe I'm not in love with or anything like that. So, I feel like a lot of athletes kind of just do what their sponsors ask of them, and it's quite confining. And I'm really grateful that I get to be creative on my bike and get to just kind of do what I want and just be real random.
So it sounds like they're sponsoring like you as whatever you want to be, as opposed to an idea of a racer that they want to fill a slot for.
Yeah, exactly. They're just, yes, I guess it's just like an experiment, and it's working, I guess, because like women's freeride's blowing up right now, and that was like the beginning of mountain biking for me, and the first inception of mountain biking for me was freeride, and that's what I wanted to be, and there was no path for that, so I had to do a big like long path to get there. But yeah, that was always the goal, is freeride.
Really, even in the racing days, you were like, I want to not be on this course.
Yeah, like ever since I was like 14 years old, I was freeride, just frother.
Who were you looking up to in those days?
My
Who were
brother,
your
my
heroes?
brother, like Kurt Sorge, Garrett Bueller, obviously like all the guys in New World Disorder movies, and like Rome and The Collective, and those days, that was always the only stuff I knew in mountain biking.
Do you remember the first mountain bike segment you watched?
The first mountain bike segment I watched. Whoa, I don't know. The first one I remember was New World Disorder 3, but I know I watched the New World Disorders before that. But that was like, I think, the most memorable, just because my brother was in it, and I got the DVD before it had like been released to the public.
Yeah.
And I got like a couple of my friends over, and they were just like, no way. And it was, I don't know, I felt like that was a huge moment watching it in our single wide trailer with my
awesome.
friends.
I'm picturing like mountain bike posters on the wall in this trailer. Is this accurate?
Yeah, I mean, like in my bedroom, yeah. My dad, when he moved to Revelstoke, he moved in with his girlfriend who lived, just in this single wide. And my dad set up the teepee, the winterized teepee in the yard as like the kids' zone.
So getting back to Trek a little bit here, they gave you the opportunity to do whatever you want. So they also give you the opportunity to travel around the world. You've been to many, many cool places. How many countries have you been to at this point in your life?
Oh my God, I haven't even counted. Do we count now? That's what we do?
Sure.
Oh my God.
1, Canada.
Canada,
New Zealand,
New
2.
Zealand,
USA, 3.
America,
Europe.
Hawaii. I guess
Europe
it's
is a
America.
country.
I would say Hawaii is a different country than
Europe,
America.
Africa, Asia. But we're done with countries.
I've been to all the islands of the
Yeah.
world.
All the big islands.
Where's like the most remote, other than obviously where you grew up, but like for biking, where you like, whoa, we're out
Well,
here?
I think Return to Earth, when we went to Argentina and went out into the backcountry of Patagonia, that was really remote. And just like when you're out in the wild like that, riding your bike at that level, you have to consider so much more than just shredding. You have to like think about, okay, there's only like a couple helicopters in this area and they're not going to fly in this weather, and like, don't get hurt, basically. Just like ride at a certain percentage that you're not going to get hurt, but you still want to make a sick shredded. Like, you still have to show the world you're riding. And to find balance when you're out there like that. And then, being out there camping in like the backcountry, you have like a little stream to wash up in every couple days, and like, I don't know, you're just living amongst the grime. You get just so dirty, wake up just like so grimy because of the wind, and just everything's just dirt filled. You're drinking out of your mug and there's just like so much like dirt in it because the wind and everything, and you stop caring. You stop caring after a while.
Is that where you find yourself in your zone? Is this your?
Yeah, I
you
think so.
enjoy
I'm
it?
just like, well, this is great. Like, everyone's having a great time, and I don't know. I feel like it's kind of, everyone has like good conversations, and you're away from all social media, and I like those trips are the best, is when you're out of service.
What about bugs?
What kind of bugs?
You know, when you're on these trips, are you having bug issues?
So I'm kind of scared of spiders, but like when they're out in their zone, that's fine. They do their thing. I do my thing. I have a lot of respect. Like mosquitoes and sandflies and midgies. I guess I grew up around that stuff, so it takes a lot for those to bother me. A lot.
When we were just on that bike park tour that you were a part of, it was pretty gnarly for some spots, for sure.
Yeah, don't think Revelstoke sprayed for mosquitoes this year, because usually like towns like this will like do like a once over on the town and spray for them so
What?
the tourists hang out.
I don't think I knew that.
Yeah, what?
Yeah, I didn't know
Tell us
that.
more about this.
Well, I don't know what they spray, but I know it's something to suppress the mosquito larvae, so that there's still tourists.
That sounds
They
healthy
can-
Is
for
this
the
like
world.
And
the
they can still make
chemtrails are
money.
real?
Yeah, that's exactly.
Yeah, that's what the chemtrails are doing. Just it's all for mosquitoes.
Because then I don't mind it.
I was stressing that my bug question was a dead end until you brought that up, so I feel better about it now.
Yeah,
yeah,
and
that
like
took a turn.
I don't know, mosquitoes are gnarly this year.
Super gnarly.
It's because we had a delayed summer.
Yeah.
So they had more time to
gestate.
gestate.
Ugh.
Yeah, what a gross word.
It is a gross
Yeah.
word.
People
Do you-
don't like moist. Gestate.
Gestate is gross.
Get out of here.
Do you know more about this spraying? I'm really intrigued.
What spray? Like,
Like,
The skeeter spray.
Yeah. Have you
No.
seen this with your own eyes or just heard
no,
about it?
but I know sometimes Blue River will do it because they have really bad mosquitoes.
Is this from planes? Or is there just like a guy in like a yellow hazmat
it's
suit
just-
walking around?
Might be just a guy,
Steve?
Steve.
Just a guy.
It's
Might be
the
just,
same guy. He goes to every town.
Yeah, he does every town. He's
Yeah, you got a skeeter problem? I got it.
Skeeter Steve.
I mean, I'm just wondering why they don't just spray more and just eradicate them.
They're
know.
part of the ecosystem.
I mean,
Yeah, what about the swallows? They
Yeah.
need food.
see, here's the thing. I don't have a lot of respect. So I
For
just want to
mosquitoes.
abolish, unlike
yeah,
you.
I mean, just don't eat bananas and you'll be fine.
For the
I'm learning a lot.
ecological impact?
No, for the mosquitoes.
I had
Oh,
bananas
don't eat
with my
bananas.
Cheerios this morning.
Yeah, you're doing the
Do the
right.
mosquitoes love people that have eaten bananas?
They love banana blood,
Whoa.
maybe. could be an old wives' tale.
No, I like this. Let's spread some misinformation.
I'm spreading misinformation, and I
That's
love
what this
it.
podcast is about.
The title's going to be Casey Brown spreads misinformation.
Yeah, just like
Fake news.
Yeah, spreading it.
So you like being out there in the bush. You like roughing it. You like drinking dirt in your cup. Where did you not have fun? Where was it a little too rough for you in the past?
Where was it a little too rough?
Has that ever happened?
No. I think just like the roughing it in the wilderness is, at any level I enjoy. Like, put me out there, put me in, coach. But like when you're when I was trying to be a World Cup racer on that team, that kind of roughing it was too much because you're just like worried about the police coming into your accommodation because your team manager didn't pay, and just like that kind of roughing it, like stressing because of
Like logistic roughing it.
logistic roughing it when you're trying to be professional, and just like not having the right parts for your bikes, and just I don't know, that those couple of years were the most gnarly for roughing it, I think.
Sounds like you weren't taken care of as well as you could have been.
Well, no, and it was just like everyone was learning all together, so there was a lot of learning the hard ways.
Okay. And
Yeah.
This is why you shouldn't get sponsored by Skeeter Steve. He just doesn't have the resources.
Peter Steve's bicycle team.
Now that's an oddly specific reference to a manager who didn't pay a fee. What is this fee? Why didn't you pay?
Oh, just like,
Or- Not trying
money-
to throw anybody under the bus
No,
here,
like
but
when everyone's figuring it all out and team manager just doesn't know how to team manage, like he's not receiving money on time to then in order to pay hotels on time like everything was always just like there was countless times that police were involved.
really?
Wow.
I thought it was like drug testing, random drug testing you were going to bring up.
No, I got random drug tested. So I don't know if it was just because I was Canadian, but I feel like every World Cup I did, I was the random.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Doesn't sound random.
Yeah, I don't know. They thought I was smoking weed or something. I don't know.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's pretty rough. Now I've hung out with, professionally worked with a couple very elite racers. And yeah, they've been vocal about how you're basically being watched all the time. And at any given time, any day, someone could show up and give you a random test.
Yeah,
And it's just so much stress on you because you just like have no time to yourself.
Yeah, you don't know when you're going to be chaperoned.
Yeah.
Do they?
Yeah.
And they test you for weed?
Back then, I'm sure they did. Yeah. That was like the same stuff, same testing you'd get in the Olympics or whatever.
Just UCI.
You're
UCI.
dangerously
Yeah.
mellow.
You're chilling too hard.
Chilling way too hard.
We're going to get her.
Besides the random drug tests, you have your team manager, and these people would have to report, like, what are you doing? What's up? Where are you? Just occasionally throughout the day. You always have
Yeah.
to tell them your whereabouts.
I mean, for us, roughing it, being like those kinds of people, I don't think we were really on their radar too hard, but yeah, I've heard people just getting like after a night out, their chaperone shows up and is like, hey, where are you? We need to test you. And they're like, whoa, I'm super hungover and like, okay.
Is there anything from those days that you miss? Like now that how do I put this? You're kind of, there's some grass is greener to being the privateer or like the, not
Yeah.
so corporate, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely go on more random adventures when you're in that situation, just because you're just tossed into strange situations all the time because you're roughing it so much and you have no money and you're like, I don't know. I have so many stories from back then that are like hilarious now.
But at the time
But at the time they were like, holy, this is crazy.
I guess you're also facing injuries too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. World Cup racing, you're just constantly battling. You you're not even human toned anymore. You look like some kind of weird gray slug from being bruised so hard. You're just like, you look down at your legs, these legs look like they're from a cadaver. Corpse, gray, green, blue.
Well, you mentioned a time when I think you said your liver like nearly exploded or something.
That's dramatic, isn't it?
Was it lacerated?
Verbatim, that's what you said.
Yeah, I lacerated my liver before World Cup racing, like when I was trying to get enough points. Like once I learned that you got to get points, but I had enough points to go. I just didn't know it yet. I was just doing as many races as I could. And so I did this one race after going free riding the day before and severely concussioning myself. And like I was like doing all the races on a trail bike too. Like I had only one bike. Okay. And so I had totally destroyed myself and my bike the day before, and then I went out for my race run the next day. I like went into the river and like tried to clear my mind because I was like, well, I feel weird. But I didn't have people around me to tell me that I was concussed. Looking back now, I'm like, well, that was dumb. But yeah, I was like pretty messed up. My brain like couldn't keep up with the speeds. And I like went over the bars, hit the ground so hard that my liver hit the inside of my body so hard that it like split almost into like the class 4 out of 5. And then I was just like seeing the tunnel. I like stood up right away and I was like, oh, I'm blacking out. And I like laid down on a rock and then I was like, this is quite relaxing. I don't know what's happening, but there's a lot of pain and I'm seeing a tunnel.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And then they like hauled me out of there. It took like over an hour to get me off the mountain because they got the truck stuck.
What mountain was this?
Oh, no.
Panorama.
Oh, I've been there.
Yeah.
I've been hauled off Panorama.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, that mountain has gotten me a few times.
Yeah, it's a savage
The
place.
Cliffs of Insanity was what got Jason.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I was also racing a downhill race on a trail bike.
No way.
It was a bad idea.
Yeah, it's chunky out there. Yeah, so anyways.
Jason broke his ankle, spun 180 degrees the
Yeah, I
wrong
flipped it
direction.
Yeah, it's pretty cool for like photos, but
That must have been
not for me.
Pretty good stories too.
Oh, no. That's rough.
So did they take you to? They must have taken you in Vermeer then.
Yeah, they took me to their clinic first and they couldn't figure it out. Took me in Vermeer, couldn't figure it out, and then they took me to Castlegar.
Yeah.
Or
Cranbrook.
Cranbrook.
Yeah.
What?
Not Castlegar.
3 hospitals?
Yeah. It took a
They
while.
couldn't figure it out?
They couldn't figure it out.
It's in Vermeer and the clinic are super basic. It's like
Yeah, they gave me like an ultrasound and was like, I can't tell.
yeah.
Different hospitals have different levels of technology and knowledge.
Yeah, and then like the CT scan showed everything. So then I was in ICU for like 5 days.
Wow.
And did you get surgery?
No, they just put me on enough sedatives to make me stay real still for enough days. The liver heals really fast. So it just, and they monitored me. They checked my blood every 4 hours and like gave me a CT scan every day and checked in on the healing process. And yeah, that was a long time ago, but it,
Fond memories.
fond memories. The blood in the abdomen took 3 months to like disappear. I had so much blood like sitting in my.
Did you have like a little jelly pocket?
No, it was just like you could. Oh, it was so gross. The feeling of it is like you'd stand up and it would take about 10 minutes for everything to settle.
Oh.
And then you'd like go to bed and you'd be like dreading it, and then you'd like lay down, and then the pain of all the blood like moving around in your belly, you'd just be like, oh my god.
Wow.
Just sloshing around.
Yeah. And then like 2 weeks later, my sister's boyfriend told a funny joke and I laughed and all the blood released onto my right lung and like collapsed the lower half of my right lung.
What?
Funny joke, right?
Side split.
So I went back to the hospital.
Murdered.
Yeah.
I got murdered in
I
a
have
joke.
I have a question about like riding with injuries. Like I'm so interested in like what's that level where you go like, no, I'm a no-go, because I'm sure it varies between different athletes.
Is this thought triggered by learning that Emil was riding with a pretty recent broken hand?
Yeah, or just guys that are doing their, first lap or their warm up and they, crash pretty hard and then they keep going.
Yeah. I have a lot of respect for that. I mean, if you have like a couple tests on your bike, like can you do a bunny hop? Can you do a push up? Like, how does that feel? Like, can you do it like without wincing or without crying? Then you can probably ride your bike. But I mean, the beauty of it is like when you're riding your bike, all your mind goes towards how to ride the bike, and you just forget about the pain or the injury. Like another story about Panorama, I went over the bars in Panorama another time over a drop and like broke my collarbone in 2 places, almost compound. Like you could see the bone had like almost punctured the skin. It was real close. Oh. Anyways, Panorama got me. Went to Dr. Hurd, and it was like exactly 2 weeks before Garbanzo, and I like Crankworks Whistler, and I was like, hey, Hurd, like I need to race in 2 weeks. Can we do anything? And he's like, yeah, we'll just put a bunch of extra screws in and put a huge plate on it. Like we'll overbuild your collarbone so you can race in 2 weeks. And so, yeah, they bolted me back together a couple days later and like just like hammered out physio. Like a week later, I was riding my bike, and it took like 3 days for me to get like full range of motion. Like totally just rushed everything. I don't recommend it. Like if you have time to heal. But I was young and dumb, so.
Yeah, at what point in your career was that?
That was 2013. So I was on Norco back then. Yeah, and raced Garbanzo, did a whole like the full Crankworks thing, and I mean, yeah, it was you can do it.
You've also broken your pelvis.
A long time ago. Well, that was like my first broken bone.
Oh my, what a bone to break.
What happened?
Well, I was dirt jumping down at the river jumps, and
in Whistler.
Yeah, I guess I was just tired and kind of nose cased a tiny bit, like on, like pushing the front end in. I don't know. I landed on my head and broke my pelvis. Not sure what happened. Anyways.
I've also landed on my head there, so
yeah.
We have a lot in common.
And then
group.
I tried to walk it off. And I was just like, I don't want to go to the hospital. So I got my friend to carry me into my truck, and we went and like slept at a buddy's house. I slept on the floor on my like blow up mattress, like my camping gear. And then I woke up, like I had been like carried there, placed on my bed, fell asleep, woke up, like basically thought I had a back injury because I couldn't physically sit up or anything, and I couldn't even like get myself to sit up. So I was like, I need someone to carry me to the hospital. I don't know what's wrong with me. So they like carried me in, and I guess I had broken my finger in my pelvis, and not something you can walk off.
No.
Brutal.
Yeah.
You're tough as nails. How is your health these days? All these injuries combined. Some metal in you still?
I mean, no, I got the metal out like 2 years ago. It was
Good
good.
call.
It was hurt so much. But I'm good. Like you just got to keep moving and keep mobility and stuff, and your body responds pretty good. Eat good food. Don't stay out too late at night. And you'll be
I
fine.
feel like you're talking to us directly. I
feel attacked.
Yeah, I'm feeling very triggered right now.
You were out late too, so.
Exactly. No, I was attacking myself.
How many Red Bull vodkas though did you have?
I don't know. I didn't have any Red Bull vodkas. I had sake, I had a margarita, I had a sake margarita.
Trek's at the door.
This must be a special occasion, because you mentioned in a post that you're not much of a fan of alcohol, but except for when you're spraying champagne and you got cameras on you. And
I
people want you to
mean,
drink
Emil did win, and we're at the Trek dinner, and there was drinks forced. No,
They had the beer bong out.
They had the beer bong out. No, it was fun. It was awesome. I didn't really drink much. I had like maybe 5 drinks throughout the whole night.
Mm-hmm.
Lightweight.
Responsible.
You deserve it. I wanted to talk about the challenges of filming, because obviously we know them very well. This trying to find the balance between having fun on your bike and just riding and being in the moment, but then also filming a segment where you have to climb up, do it again, wait for the sun, wait for the cloud.
Oh, yeah.
There's a problem. The battery died. Hang on. Like, and then you find your flow. You lose your flow. You lose your momentum. I've had the pleasure of working with you as well, and you're very patient. I just want to hear from your perspective, what is it like being on a massive film production?
So fun.
Because you do it a lot.
No, it's just like, I don't know. I guess having patience for that stuff there's like nothing to it. Like if you have to wait for light, you just like chill. You're like, okay, I'll just have a nap in this moss until they call me, and then I'll get on my bike and I'll ride it. Yeah, so I don't know. You just kind of hang out in the forest, and I love hanging out in the forest. So that's any excuse to do that.
Do you like that? Do you like the filming more than the competing?
Yeah, 100%. Like I'm not doing any timed runs this year. No racing.
No racing.
0. I did the A-line race, but in a train. So
That was sick. The party train.
the party train. Yeah, so we did a party train, and that was the only time that I got between the tape.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
Why that? Just curious. Why?
Taking a step back from it is nice, and like putting energy towards other things in my riding is also like one of my bigger goals. And I felt like racing and being like putting energy into that had taken away from the creative side. And just I want to do more creative stuff on my bike, and you got to shift your energy around, make room for it. You don't want to get burnt out, so you have to take something out in order to put something in.
Super smart. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I think so.
I asked how many countries you've been to. We never got to the bottom of it.
Oh, yeah.
But instead of sitting here and counting them all, what is the best country? What's the worst country you've been to? Let's throw someone under the bus here.
Worst country? Well, that's gnarly.
Worst country.
Worst experience.
Yeah, it's not necessarily
It's not the
country,
worst
it might
country.
just be the trip. Or,
Oh, yeah. Well, best country, I like Bhutan. That was cool. What a neat place.
where's Bhutan?
Bhutan's between India and China and the Himalayas.
Oh, okay.
And it's a small little country that, they're the only country that has a negative carbon.
Footprint.
They absorb more carbon than they produce.
Oh,
Wow.
okay. Very
Yeah.
cool.
A lot
Negative
of trees.
carbon emission.
And
We'll
they
Google this
measure
later.
they measure their what is the GWP, like when countries measure
GDP.
GDP, they measure their GDP on mental health, like how happy people are.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah.
And the worst?
The worst country. Ooh. Las Vegas.
The country of the
Yes.
sovereign nation of Las Vegas.
Good answer.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Is the worst.
That does not seem like your vibe.
Yeah, that
Worst-
is the exact opposite of
Yeah.
where you belong.
Worst representation.
Yeah,
of
to wear shoes
human-
the whole time, I'm sure.
Ew, yeah, it's so gross.
Like 2 shoes.
Yeah.
I thought we said 2 shoes.
Ugh. Yeah, it's so gross.
I'm
there.
guessing Interbike brought you to Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Or is there something else?
And like flying to St. George or flying to, southern Utah, trying to go to rampagey stuff,
Yeah.
ride that kind of stuff. You fly into Las Vegas, and yeah, Las Vegas is definitely the worst country that I've been to.
That's
Someone
such a
in the
good
comments is just raging, like, it's not our country.
answer. They pull down their slot machine.
It's just a 95-year-old woman at a slot machine listening to this podcast.
I'm sure it's great though. Alex Honnold lives there, and I mean,
The free soloist.
yeah, the free soloist. So I'm sure I've only seen the strip, and
Do you know him?
no, I do not know
Oh, okay.
him.
I got really excited for a second.
Yeah, my old pal there.
Yeah.
but you did meet Kelly Slater, though, in Hawaii.
Yeah, I have met Kelly Slater.
Were you starstruck?
Yes. Wouldn't you be?
I don't know. I don't think I grew up watching Kelly Slater much. He did have a video game though, so that's pretty cool. Kelly Slater, pro surfer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I would ask him about his video game experience. That gets me excited.
I don't know. Anyone that's the GOAT in their sport is like, I'm pretty starstruck.
Very fair.
Any other moments where you were starstruck seeing someone out in the wild? In Las Vegas, actually, I saw Bam Margera.
Who was that?
Bam Margera?
Don't know.
Oh, really?
From Jackass.
Yeah.
Oh, right. I met Tony Hawk. I was pretty starstruck. Yeah, I spent we did like a athlete summit.
Oh, for which brand?
Action cam.
Okay.
When Sony had that action
Oh,
cam.
wow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I got put on.
throwback.
I got put on some like crazy summits on that program.
Cool. What's
Yeah.
Tony Hawk like?
I don't know. It's like so starstruck. I never I just like
Blacked out.
sat at the table, just like whoa.
Did you shout, do a kickflip at him?
Wanna like do a 900 right now?
Yeah. What do you like to do in your spare time? 900s. Cool.
You have some of the coolest bikes out there. You are very fortunate to get some pretty cool custom bikes. I'm guessing mostly painted from Eric Heth at Trek.
Yeah. Yes.
Brilliant painter.
Yeah. Super grateful to have Trek make like custom painted bikes for us C3 athletes. Like, I mean, you come up with ideas and you like send them over, and then you're just waiting. You're like, I wonder what they're gonna come up with like the colors and the designs that you sent them, and yeah, then they send back an amazing piece of art, and you're like, wow, I get to ride this for a whole year. This is sick.
How involved are you in that process?
Pretty involved. Like, a few back and forths and like sending through different ideas, and then sometimes they're like, no, that'll take us like a whole year to paint. We can't do that.
Like, what's something that you asked for that they said we can't do that?
I don't know, like maybe just something that has like so much fine detail that needs to be hand done. Too much. So yeah, you got to pick stuff that's, I mean, some of my bikes are the longest bikes that have been in paint, like 8 hours of paint. So yeah.
Yeah, because you have a lot of like design. It's not just colors. It's more
Yeah.
design work.
Yeah, and stuff that's kind of like personalized, and yeah.
Request they like print a whole book.
Yeah, I know.
What?
Just
like
right
paint.
out of the
Yeah,
whole
this
book.
is the wrong font. Can you please do it again?
I asked for
I was
Helvetica.
going to say the same thing.
What's your favorite bike?
Oh, the one I have now.
yeah.
Definitely.
The session?
The Session Park. Yeah.
What's the design? Is it paisley?
No, it has like old school sort of Western tattoo style pieces on it. So there's actually 2 Snuff the dogs on there, and like some wild horses, like Snuff's in a cowboy hat. We got like some sunflowers, some monarch butterflies, like skulls, and like, yeah, what else is there? There's a ride or die. There's a few different like little words. There's like 1990, like the year I was born, buffalo, like
Guy in a buffalo.
Guy in a buffalo. Yeah, he's on there. He's my favorite.
Yeah, I know. I saw your bikes in the bike room here at the Ava.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's cool that you can look at that bike multiple times and have almost like a different viewing experience depending on like how you see it.
Yeah, and then you can just like check out like every time I look at it, I'm like, whoa, no way. There's like, that's there. That's cool. So
So you're going to keep that on, is that a wall piece later? Like,
yeah, I mean, all of the custom painted bikes we keep, and like I'll just eventually probably just have all my bikes as display, because they all have pretty sentimental value, and some of them I lend out to friends and they just ride them for a season and give them back, and then then you just retire them because they're old and clapped.
Lucky friends.
Yeah.
So we recently visited Revelstoke, and we were super impressed with the bike park there. The trails are amazing. Jump trails are insane. We didn't get a chance to check out your Dark Horse course, though. And I'm curious what's in store coming up.
Yeah, so we have been, like, being at Crankworks this time, it was more meetings and stuff like that. So a few of the meetings were for Dark Horse and just, like, planning and stuff like that. So, we're going to have same courses last year, just, like, slightly tweaked to work a bit better, because every year you got to make it slightly different, slightly better, right? Because, I mean, you can't get it perfect the first time. And then we'll have the progression zone again with, like, the airbag, and then we're going to have the mulch jump, but we're going to make it quite a bit more chill, so you can just try weird stuff on your bike and not feel too intimidated by the height of the ramp or anything, because the ramps were huge last year. Yeah, and then 20 girls instead of 12, so there's huge bump up there.
Very sick.
Yeah, and it's just going to be, it's closing weekend for the bike park as well, so I think a lot of people will come out and watch, and yeah.
And is it still a similar format where you're going to hand out awards for different
Yeah,
tricks
totally.
or style? Or
Yeah, and there's like other awards, like if you have a huge slam or if you like, have a close call. There's those awards too. Like you gotta reward like people who are, risking it and trying things, and
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What's the goal there? Is it let's go worldwide with this and do dark horses all over?
Yeah, I know. It would be so cool, but like for me, it's just like focusing on the one is a big enough endeavor. But yeah, the goal is just to be sort of that incubator for freeride women's field, and we have a lot of catching up to do, and I feel like these events are really important to catch up and to grow the sport in that direction. You need to just keep fostering the momentum that we have already, and little events like this really help.
Yeah, I mean, it shows. Like yourself and others have put in energy to these events, and in the last, I would say, 2 or 3 years, the women now, the field is insane.
Yeah, and just like Dark Horse in itself, the name is for like the up and comers, and just like who do we have coming up, and how can we help them like to the next step. So it's just like that first kind of stage, like maybe they've never ridden in an event before, and this is their first one that they're going to. And just a place for the girls to kind of shine a light on their skills, and hopefully it's not a contest or anything. There are awards, but it's not contest based. It's just totally progression based, and that's what I've learned over the years is progression happens way better when there's no contest. All that stress is taken off.
More of a session where you can take as many runs as you want.
Yeah, and you're allowed to fail, and you're allowed to, like bail off your bike. You're not going to be judged for it. You're going to, it's a safe space.
Is it rider decided the awards?
Yeah.
Cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
Should we this or that, or this or nuts?
This or nuts?
Well,
what would you rather have?
I wanted to take one step further. We didn't really dive too much into the growth of female representation in the sport. I just want to hear from you. I mean, it's amazing to go out there. I mean, specifically here at Crankworks, you look at the lineup and it seems, I don't know, there's like a quarter women now in the lineup. It's pretty awesome to see.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Mm-hmm.
It's close. I mean, there's no reason why it can't be 50-50. Like, I think it's like at some point it's just culture based.
But we've seen massive growth, but where do you think, like what areas is there, I guess, do we need more growth?
Or like in what ways do you need more growth?
I think
how do we get to 50?
Leisure athletes, like not making it, like Katie Burrell started the brand Leisure Athlete not long ago, and I think that is a really cool way to get more women involved, because a lot of the stuff that intimidates women about mountain biking, like when they're coming from like no sports at all, is like, whoa, this is gnarly. We have to be like professional, wear all this body armor, like full face helmet, like it looks intense and intimidating. And if you like break it down and bring it back a couple notches, like you can make it way more appealing if you just go at it leisurely, and you don't have to be that good. You can just ride a blue trail, and you don't have to like aim for riding a black trail. You can just be happy there, and you don't have to be like a pro athlete or want to be a pro. You don't have to want to be a pro athlete. You can just go and do it.
Sort of like a skiing or snowboarding.
Yeah, right? Exactly. Yeah. And I think like just like the gear intimidates people sometimes. Like it's a lot.
It is a lot, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm glad we've evolved from being the stormtroopers, though.
Yeah.
Do you have any frustration towards unfair pay in the industry?
I did. When I was like coming up, it was like, I mean, I guess the arguments from, I'm throwing the ECI under the bus because they have tried to squash, they've done everything to squash women's mountain biking, like in downhill, like shrinking the field, making it harder to qualify, and then being like, we don't pay you as much because there's not as many women. It's like, well, it's harder to qualify and not as many girls can afford to get there. It's like, you're smothering, what could be a really huge field if you let it just, ignite. So, so I don't know. I feel like there are some parts of the industry that are really archaic still and need to, just be more supportive of the females mountain biking because they're coming up and we need to foster it and make sure it grows.
And what's the UCI?
A Union Cyclist International.
The governing race body for World Cup racing.
Yeah.
So it's like FIFA.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah. The people that do the pee tests.
Where's that?
They watch you
just
pee.
Just for curiosity, where is that like centralized?
Switzerland?
Switzerland.
Yeah,
okay.
I think Switzerland.
Yeah, because I got a fine from them once and it was in Swiss francs.
Oh.
Unpaid.
For what? P-test?
No. No, it's actually here in Whistler.
Dun, dun, dun.
Unpaid tabagarf.
So I got to the bottom of my race run for the Canadian Open and I hadn't had a rewind back to practice. I hadn't gotten a practice lap in the morning of the race. And they were so strict. I got there literally 20 seconds after they closed. And I was like, come on, you guys, we're in Canada. This is the Canadian, it's not come on, it's not like a World Cup. And they're like, no, go to the bottom, ride beeline. And I was like, okay, I'll ride beeline. And so I went down beeline, and then I saw that beeline went real close to the track, and I was like, I'll just sneak in. So I just snuck in the forest and rode down and
Connecting to which trail? Canadian Open?
Canadian Open.
Okay.
And I was like, yeah, sweet. Okay, I can get one practice lap in before the race. So I rode down, got to the bottom, and I was like, cool. Okay, now I know what the track is like. That's nice. And then I went back up for my race run, raced down. I was I think I seated first maybe or second. I don't know. Anyways, I was one of the last people down. Got to the bottom. I had won it, and it was back in the day when you'd win 10 grand.
Oh, yeah.
For winning it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was when Crankworks had just made equal pay as well. So I was like, whoa, no way. And then I get approached by an official and I knew it was coming, but I didn't know what level. I was just like, they're going to take the gold away from me. Right. Oh. I had gone to worst case scenario instantly and be like, oh no, I've messed up. Anyways, I got approached by the Quebec official and being like, we are so sorry to inform you. We regret to inform you, but here's a 70 Swiss franc fine.
Holy fucking shit!
And I was so relieved. I thought honestly they were like, nope, you are disqualified.
Wow. Yeah, that would be tense. Huh?
That was the most, I don't know, the naughtiest thing I've done in mountain biking, I think, is jumping in off beeline onto the Canadian Open because I was 20 seconds late for practice.
But it shows kids that pays off.
Yeah,
you won.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
The math checks
Lesson
out.
learned.
the math checks out.
Yeah. 70 versus 10,000.
Yeah.
Well, now that we're here, I want to know, going through your Instagram stuff, you get the occasional, creepy comment, and being a woman in your position, how do you deal with that?
I just go on some random professional mountain biker dudes and write a creepy comment in return. Just to balance it out
Balance
a
the
little bit.
world out.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I just kind of delete them, or usually it's just people trying to get attention or
Yeah, that's
weird. I did have a stalker once though.
Oh,
Do we tell the stalker story?
you should tell it. We can cut it if you decide if it's no bueno.
Have I told it before on a podcast?
I don't know.
Hopefully not. We need the scoop.
Yeah, we want the scoop.
Okay, so back when I was racing it, this is quite a long story, guys. Sorry.
We're in.
I got time.
We got
We're in.
time. We're more
Okay.
worried about your time.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I'm worried about
I
like.
didn't ask for the late checkout yet.
That's fine. We're at the Ava. They love you guys.
Shout out to the Avia.
Big fan. Anyways, when I was racing enduro, I was at an enduro in Aspen, Colorado. Huge day. Finished up the enduro. I think I had gotten third. There was lots of fans around. We were packing down the track tent, and this girl comes up to me, and she was had a bit of broken English, and she was like one of those fans that were like one of those fans.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was like, oh my god, I have a super fan. No way. Anyways, she's broken English, like straight from China. She's like, I moved to the U.S. to follow my dreams because of your article in Bike Magazine. She had found it somewhere, and like basically like follow your dreams, and she did that. And she was like, I'm moving to America, and I'm going to ride a bike. Anyways, packing down the tent, kind of busy. She was hanging around for a really long time, and I was just like, I don't know, just doing the things, like packing everything down. Anyways, she was like, I love you. And I was like, wow, that's nice. Thank you. Because it was broken English, and I thought it was like a mistranslation.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, looking back on that now, not a mistranslation.
Whoa.
Anyways, months later, I'm coming back from a Europe enduro, and I take like a photo of my boarding passes because I have like 4 airports to transit through, a huge 45 hour transit day. And
That's a couple days.
Yeah, wait, what? Trying to do the mental math.
45-hour day. Okay, let's crunch the numbers. Carry the 1.
oh my god. Anyways, I guess that it had my arrival time and what airport I was going to at the end of the travel day. And I show up to
No.
Kelowna Airport
No.
trying to go home. After, like each encounter is like at my most like horrendously tired moments, you know? Anyways, I get to Kelowna and I'm like waiting for my bags, and I get approached by this girl, this chick, and I kind of recognize her, kind of like don't really have the time of day. I'm like so tired. Anyways, I grab my bags, and this girl's like standing near me, and she's like, hi, do you remember me? Like speaking in broken English again. I'm like, kind of, but I don't know who you are. And she's like, I'm so-and-so, I forget her name. I think it's like Shar or something. Anyways, she was like, why, like interrogating me on why I didn't respond to her messages on Instagram. Like, I don't really read all my request messages. Like, I don't know. Anyways, she's like, can I offer you a place to stay? I live here now. I moved to Vernon to go to school, like Kelowna to go to school and to be closer to you. I didn't any kind of like thing, like clue that came through didn't register.
Right.
At
yeah.
this point,
I
I
think
was
it's
like,
just the second language thing.
the second
right?
language
It's-
thing,
yeah.
you're like, okay, cool. And each time I encounter was, I'm super tired, like totally ratchet tired. Anyways, she asked for my phone number. I give her a fake one because I'm so tired. I'm like, I don't want to have any confrontations here. And I'm like, I don't know why I didn't read your message. I'm so sorry. Like, I'll check in. And I explained to her, I'm like, no, my boyfriend's picking me up. I'm going to go like back to Revelstoke. Anyways, months later, maybe even a year later.
Oh my god. It goes on.
Anyways, I'm like, I finished 4 days of filming in late June. Filming in late June, you guys know how it goes. You're up till midnight because the sun sets at like 10, and then you're up at like 4:30 to film the sunrise. And I did 4 days back to back of that to crunch out a shoot. And then I had a race right after. And so I just finished this shoot, absolutely shattered, tired. And I'm living
rat shit tired.
Rat shit tired. Like,
First time I've heard that. About
Yeah, and I'm using it.
like I just made that up. Anyways, I'm like, I live in a basement suite, and I'm like packing my stuff kind of late at night, like 10, maybe 10:30. And I have a pickup in the morning at like maybe 9 a.m. And I'm packing my stuff, and the lights are on. I'm just like mincing around, getting my things together. So tired. And I get like a knock on the door, and I'm like, well, it's kind of late, and someone that knows me would have texted me. So a couple things are kind of weird. Anyways, again, so tired, don't really have time to think about weird clues. Walk up the stairs because I'm in a basement suite, and the motion sensor light had turned on, but there's a window in the door and nobody's standing there. Kind of like horror movie spec. I'm like, oh.
Oh my God.
And so I walk up and I like open the door. I'm like, hello. And this girl comes up and she's like, hi. Like kind of panicked. And she's like, can I come in? I'm like, oh my God, are you okay? Like, are you in trouble? And she comes in like kind of panicked. And she comes downstairs and starts walking around casually and is just like checking out. And I'm like, hang on a minute, like, who are you? I recognize you.
You just let her in?
She just kind of like was panicked and came in. And I, you know how it is. You're just like tired and don't want to, you can't, like, sometimes you're just non-confrontation. I'm not a confrontational person.
Yeah.
I'm like not going to be like.
And that gets you into trouble sometimes.
It does.
Yeah.
And then she got down into my space and was walking around. Didn't take your shoes off. I noticed that because that's annoying when people don't take their shoes off, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, ew.
That's why I took my shoes off today. In honor of you.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Anyways, she walks around, and at this point, I'm like kind of freaked out a bit. I'm like, whoa, weird. Who are you? Like, what are you doing here? And she's like, I was walking by. I was like doing a hike in town, and I was walking by and I recognized a piece of art on your wall that you had posted on your Instagram 2 years ago through the window.
Oh man.
And that's like, okay. And then I'm looking around and I'm like trying to get a gauge on this human being.
Yeah.
I don't know if she's bipolar. A lot of my decorations are like throwing axes, and there's like knives on like in my kitchen, and I'm like, oh my God, like how do I deal with this person? I'm so tired. Think about like, what am I doing? Like, I'm like, okay, I got to keep this person happy, calm, and somehow remove them out of the house. Like, I don't know how I'm going to do that because she's in there and she wants to stay. She's like asking me, can I stay over? And I'm like, no, like, don't you have an Airbnb or something you can go to? Like, where are you parked? And I'm like trying to like inch my way to like getting her out of the place. And she's like, no, like, and my boyfriend wasn't there, and he'd gone on a trip. So I was alone and just me and Snuff. And I was like doing all the things that you do before you go on a trip, right? Like taking the garbage out, getting the compost like sorted, doing dishes. And I'm like, hey, I'm really busy packing. I don't really have time to like hang out and chat. Like, and she just kept like kind of smothering the conversation on like things that she knows about me, and like articles that she liked, and the things she liked in the articles, and the things she didn't like in the articles, and like going down these big tangents. And I was like, oh my God, this is gonna be a nightmare getting her out of here without her murdering me. I don't know what's gonna happen.
Kind of sounds like this podcast. Just a lot of tangents. You don't know how you're gonna get out of here.
Yeah, I know.
It's just never ending.
So sorry.
No, this is great.
No. Keep going.
And then I was like where are you parked? Like, I'm gonna take the compost out. Maybe I can walk you out. And she's like, no, it's okay. okay, I'll just go take the compost out. So I go out and like I'm dumping the compost into this bin. And you know when the hairs stick up on the back of your neck? I get that feeling, right? Like as I'm turned around, it's dark. And I turn around and she's right behind me. She had like snuck up on me right behind me and had like, I don't know, she was coming out because she was like, I was like, whoa. And she's like, I was just making sure you weren't calling the police. And that,
Oh, man.
and this is what,
Odin's raven.
and that's when I was like, okay, now you know that you're doing something wrong.
That's messed
That
up.
is okay. I get it now. And then it went into she had a plan for us. She like wanted to like be my partner and wanted to make a contemporary movie of what is the movie about the cowboys in the backcountry?
Brokeback Mountain.
She wanted to make Brokeback Mountain 2 with me.
What?
Broke her back. Mountain.
Anyways, she was like, had this plan. And then I was like standing there against like the garden shed and I was like totally freaked out. And she was trying to like use like North American pickup lines. She was like, you look so strong. And I want, like, can I touch your arm? And I was like, no. And
That's my favorite pickup line, by the way.
you look so strong.
Use it all the
Can
time.
I touch your
And
arm?
then she approached me and tried to kiss me. And I was like, this is it. Like, no, go away. I don't want you here anymore. You've crossed the line finally.
Yeah.
That was it.
That was
the
it.
line.
That was the line. My line is much.
The line was so like you can't even see the line anymore.
I had way too much trust in humans.
I know.
Yeah.
Anyways, so then she like before that she had like given me her number and I had written it down because I was kind of freaked out of her and I was like maybe that's a good thing to have her number just so you know whatever happens. Anyways, she then proceeded. I was like, go back to your truck. Like I don't want you here anymore. Like please go home wherever you live. I don't want to hang out. And she was like, no, I'm taking your dog. And she grabbed Snuff.
No.
What?
And she was like, I'm taking your dog with me. And I was like, no, I don't want to
Well,
get
you were probably
I don't want to
you were
get
probably actually very angry at this
Oh,
point.
I don't want to get physical with the chick, but I was like, no, like go. Like I literally just like grabbed Snuff and like pushed her like leave. And she left. Thank goodness. And I was so scared.
For sure.
Yeah.
Dude, I was like, I locked all the window, like the latches on the windows because I realized like the windows were open because of breeze and I wanted like air. And I just shut everything down, curtains closed, like locked the doors. And dude, I did not sleep that night. I called like 4 of my friends super late at night and I was like, hey, I just had this really weird experience. Like, what should I do? Like, I didn't know what I was supposed to do in that situation. I felt super uncomfortable and weird. And yeah, I just locked everything down. Like, I had an early morning and yeah, I just like had Snuff under the covers with me that night. I was just like so scared, like, oh my God. And then that morning I was like up quite early and got a message back from one of my friends who'd finally got it and I was like, hey, you should definitely call the police. And I called the police. Explaining to the police, that story was the most awkward thing.
Right.
Like they didn't know who I was. That I like, what gives you the right to have a stalker? Like,
Right. Yeah.
like
How many Instagram followers do you have?
Like they didn't care about that stuff. You're just like, I don't even know how to explain this normally. Anyways, I gave them her number and they had called her and just asked her like to not contact me anymore. And they called me back and was like, hey, her reaction was quite distraught. She was crying and like she thought it was a huge misunderstanding. And anyways, I had to go and race. I went and got picked up. I actually went to my friend's house that morning, like sneaked through the neighborhood. I was like, is she still here? I don't know.
Right.
I had breakfast there and then like left for the race. It was in Fernie. And then went and raced. It was like the Trans BC. So you go to Fernie and then you go like to a bunch of
Oh,
different.
huge race.
Yeah, you go.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I went to like did all these races, and it ended in Revelstoke. And I had told a couple people about it, but like definitely like didn't have, like I was so like weirded out all week, like racing, just like had kind of gross feeling of like, where is she type of thing. Anyways, yeah, so I got to Revelstoke, was doing the race there, and I wasn't here for this part of the story, but my friend, my boyfriend was the marshal, and he was marshaling the race, and there was part of the race that came down off the mountain across a logging road and then back into the trail, and the riders had to like pedal up the logging road for like maybe 20 feet, 50 feet, and the marshal there was randomly my boyfriend, and he saw like a red Durango Dodge come up the road and tried to turn around and get stuck in the worst place possible, like right in front of where the racers had to like basically do a detour around the truck. And he sees the truck, and the truck is like 2-wheel drive. The gas pedal is floored. Like racers are riding in front of this vehicle with like back wheels completely spinning. The thing's high centered in the ditch, and the wheels are completely like pinned, spinning, and there's riders like going in front of this. If the truck catches any traction, somebody's gonna die.
Yeah.
So he like goes in front of the truck, like slams his hands on the hoods, like whoa, like chill, and like gets him to like roll down the window, and he doesn't know her face or anything, and he gets her to roll down the window, and it's her, and he's like, oh, and she's like, oh my God, I didn't know you were gonna be here, and yeah, and he's like, we need to have a conversation. You should get out of the truck. And he totally like tells her like, you're not welcome here, like you're invading like our private area, like please don't come back. And she was like, can I buy you food? I don't know, more random lost in translation things. And anyways, he's like, no, you're like not welcome, like please like go back home and like leave us alone because you've really scared us. And she like understood kind of and was like, okay. And basically my friend Stu had to come up with his truck, and as he pulled up, she was like, oh my God, I didn't know Stu was gonna be here. Like knew everyone in my life.
Right.
Oh my God.
Yeah, like my good friend Stu, like, and then he towed her out and she left. And yeah, I tried to find her on Instagram. I guess she get blocked and canceled everything because she was, I don't know, she had a plan for us, and that was really scary.
Yeah.
So that was that after that encounter.
Yeah, that was that for now.
How long ago was this?
This was 2016, 2017.
Wow.
It's a pretty good amount of distance away, though, I feel like now.
Yeah, I feel like she got the message.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that was hands down the best story on the podcast so far.
Yeah, I think so.
Dave?
That's one of the best stories in my life.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Okay.
sharing that.
Yeah, that was awesome.
I'm sorry that happened to you.
Yeah.
No,
that's
that's-
story.
That's right.
That's good. No, I'm glad it's on the podcast because now that when people ask for me to tell it, I can just send them here because
they
like
just got to sit through the first 2 hours
honestly,
of the podcast.
honestly, I hate telling the story. It's so creepy. It gives me the
Yeah.
goosebumps
Yeah.
every time.
Yeah, I noticed.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're just tired, but you're kind of wiping some tears.
Yeah,
every
no, it's
once
just
in a
like,
while.
oh, creepy.
Yeah.
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 Very fair.
Yeah.
Any turns.
Heavy.
Fuck
Anyways,
yeah.
random stalker, like, and because she was a woman, like, if it was a dude doing those same things, I would have clued in right away.
Yeah.
But because I didn't know, like, maybe she's just a super fan. Like there's so many clues I look back on now, like, oh, that was dumb of me.
Was she at least a smaller person?
No, she's quite tall.
Ooh. That makes it a
Yeah,
little bit more intimidating.
she's quite tall.
Yeah, I definitely thought the story was going to end up with a guy being the stalker.
Yeah, traditionally, yeah, but no.
All right. Well, how do you feel about doing some this or that?
Yeah,
Game
glad
show
you're
where there
here.
are no wrong answers.
All right, number one, stalkers or
or nuts.
Your boyfriend or your stalker? Who do you pick?
Ah, man, fuck.
all right, just gonna reset after that story.
Yeah.
All right, so
shake it
I
up.
guess we have a full list here now.
Okay.
Nice.
Hopefully, we stump you on a couple.
Have you played This or Nuts before?
No.
What?
This or that. We came up with a new game.
I just heard Snuff groan. He wants to go. I heard. Or she?
Snuff's a girl, right?
She's a girl.
She, okay.
Everyone thinks she's a boy.
I like how we checked. We're like, yeah, that's a girl.
100%.
I recognize a dog
Yeah.
girl. Anyway.
Yeah. She looks manly.
She's got the beard.
Yeah.
All right, friends, play the music. Here we go. This or that. Summer or winter?
Summer.
Slash or session?
Session.
Ski or snowboard?
Ski.
Photo or video?
Video.
Pedal or shuttle?
Pedal.
Shuttle or chairlift?
Chairlift.
Sunrise or sunset?
Sunrise.
Lake swim or ocean swim?
Lake swim, I think.
Final answer.
Lake swim.
Hot tub or cold dip?
Cold dip.
Pow or loam? We got her. We got her.
Pow.
Oof.
You just lost a lot of friends. Stairs or elevator?
Stairs.
Good for you.
Way safer.
Jumps or steeps?
Jumps.
One-hander or one-footer?
Ooh, 1 footer.
Painting or drawing?
Painting.
Professional electrician or professional arsonist?
Arsonist.
New Zealand or Canada?
Oh God. What are you trying to do to me?
We got her
It
again.
would be so much easier if I was like half Russian, half Canadian.
New Zealand or Canada? It's okay. Nothing
Yeah.
actually happens and life continues on as normal. You just
We
say
won't be
something.
offended.
Yeah, it's fine.
New Zealand. Canada.
Tricks or style?
Style.
Wait, I already asked this. Risk or reward?
Risk.
Whip off or downhill race?
Whip off.
Whip off.
Whip off. Airbag or mulch pit?
Pit of mulch.
Flips or 360s?
360s.
27.5 or 29?
27.5.
New World Disorder or Collective?
Oh my God. New World Disorder. That's where I grew.
And finally, Guy on a Buffalo or Skeeter Steve?
Ooh.
We got her
Guy on
again.
a buffalo. I don't really know Skeeter Steve too good.
He was invented during the podcast.
He's new to my brain.
And that's how you play this or that. Good job. You killed it.
Good job. What? Canada revokes Casey's passport.
That was swift.
That was swift.
Oh
We
man.
have a live feed.
That's okay. New Zealand's fine too.
Speaking of a feed, can you name the title of our podcast? Or I mean,
What?
do you already know the title of this podcast?
I think I remember it.
You didn't do your research before you showed up?
It's feeding off each other.
Hey, you got it
Feeding
right.
off each other.
Right on.
You know what that quote's from?
Matt Hunter.
Yes.
Yes.
Name that movie.
Name-
Collective? No. Rome?
One more.
Play it again.
Oh my God. Oh.
Is feeding off each other.
That is Seasons?
Seasons. Oh yeah,
Seasons.
seasons. Yes,
Whistler
yeah.
Bike Park segment.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for feeding off us today. You feel well fed?
Oh my God. I just had an image of like when they eat sushi off like a model. Yes. And pay lots
That's
of
what I
money.
was thinking.
Yeah, so it's a 50-50.
Yeah.
Think of it as a real thing.
Yeah.
No, I didn't eat off anyone.
We brought you a muffin. You had 2 bites of it. Hope you know.
I'll finish it. It's full of bananas though, so gotta
Oh, yeah, watch out for those
Mosquitoes are
skeeters.
gotta
Steve's got to get
go
busy.
hang out with Skeeter Steve.
Guys, do we be
Well-
professionals and end this like telling people where to go to see more Casey? I'm a little
Yeah.
concerned though. Do we want to send people your way? People to learn?
Nice people only.
Yeah.
You
Um,
don't tell her you love her in a creepy way.
Yeah, don't do that. I have, PTSD.
Leave her dog alone.
Seriously, PTSD on that part.
You're in a million
can-
places, but where can
Yeah.
people find you, follow you?
They can follow me on the internet.
On Instagram. You have an
Instagram.
Instagram. Casey __Brown __.
I changed it from Casey Browntown because I learned that Browntown was dirty words.
Oh, yeah, that's probably. So you're like, let me just put 4 underscores.
Let me just see what I tried to buy my name, but it was really expensive on this.
Oh, yeah? How much? $2,000?
I don't know. I was like, $2,000, but then the payment thing was a bit
Super sketchy.
sus, and I'm like,
Yep.
I don't know if I should do this.
No.
I feel weird.
I think you made a good call.
You got to check.
I got 4 underscores in my name. I don't know if that's a good call.
I think it's fine.
It's fine. People
Yeah.
will find you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, you have a YouTube channel.
Yeah, I
Casey
do.
Brown.
It's not that bumping, but it has some stuff on it. You can check out some homemade goods.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah,
And
the back 40.
Mhm.
Things
What's that?
of that nature. Just like some road trips we did within the country just to make hay while there was COVID happening,
That was an awesome series.
Yeah,
You,
it
Michaela,
was.
Definitely go check that out.
Yeah, we went up to the Yukon.
Yeah, it looked
That
sick.
was sick.
Yeah, looked like a good time.
Yeah.
And if you want to follow more of
Exactly.
us, where do you go, Jason?
Find us on YouTube, Feeding Off Each Other, Spotify, Apple Podcasts,
Deezer.
These
Nuts.
These Nuts, or wherever you get your fine podcasts.
Yeah, something like that.
We need to go drink some more water.
And you can follow us on Instagram. Did you say that?
We have Instagram.
Yeah.
Nobody's listening anymore, guys.
And that's another episode of
Feeding off each other. Casey, thank you.
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you. We could talk.
Thanks.
We could
Thank
talk
you.
forever.
I know. We could go into more later.
We'll have you again.
Yeah.
Come back on.
Yeah, maybe I'll go pick up some more stories and then come back with some freshies.
Just some like lighthearted stuff.
Yeah, that was heavy for you guys. That's not characteristic of IFHT.
No,
Sorry.
it was too
No,
dramatic.
that was good.
No, it's perfect.
No, we had our own sounds in there. It was fine.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Twists.
Couple
Yeah.
fart noises.
But I'm so grateful that it's somewhere now. And
Yeah.
someone I don't have to tell the story anymore.
Well, we're grateful for you, Casey.
Yeah,
thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you guys. Thanks for having me.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Feeding Off Each Other. Please subscribe for more great podcasts.